Hi, I'm Daniel Gray-Barnett. I'm an illustrator, and for this World Book Day, I've illustrated the book All Poems Aloud, which is a collection of poems from the Out Loud series written by Joseph Coelho, including Poems Aloud, Smile Out Loud, and Courage Out Loud. And so all of these poems, they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and they explore the different ways to perform poetry. So it could be performing them quietly, it could be reading them out loud, it could be reading them by yourself, or maybe with your family and friends. There's all different ways that we perform poetry, and these books are all about finding out what those are and having fun. So enjoy. My top tip for reading is to find somewhere nice and quiet where you can be really comfortable and not be distracted. So maybe that's to find a little corner in your house somewhere where you've got a nice comfy chair, and maybe you want to put some noise cancelling headphones on. I like to do that so that where I am, I don't get distracted. I'm nice and quiet and no one will bother me. My favorite reading space is here in my studio because it's my space and it's got all my books that I love. It's got one of my favorite armchairs. So I like to be here on my own, and I like to curl up in my chair, and sometimes I'll put my headphones on and I'll listen to audiobooks. I love audiobooks as well. I like being read stories out loud, and so it reminds me of when I was young, having stories read to me. And yeah, it's my reading space. No one can come in and bother me. It's lovely. What I would like to read more of this year is just a bit of everything, actually. I haven't got enough time to read as much as I'd like. I usually love to read fiction, but maybe my challenge this year is to read other things. So maybe some non-fiction and probably more poetry. I love poetry, but I don't really get enough time to read it. And there's some brilliant poets writing poems for young people, and I'd love to read more of that. And here are my tips for something to read next if you like my book, All Poems Aloud. I really love nonsense poems, and one of my favorites is The Owl and the Pussycat, written by Edward Lear. So there's lots of copies and versions of that book published over the last however many years, but there's a really beautiful one illustrated by Charlotte Volk. So if you can find that copy of The Owl and the Pussycat illustrated by Charlotte, that's a really nice one. One of Joseph Coelho's books is called Overheard in the Tower Block, and it's a collection of poems about growing up in the city, and that's illustrated by Kate Milner. That's a really good book. Another one, I love picture books. I think picture books for all ages regardless, and there's a great one called All the Ways to be Smart, written by Davina Bell and illustrated by Alison Colpois. And it's a rhyming picture book, and it's just really beautifully written, and it's all about different ways that people can be smart, not just academically smart, but all the things that we can be good at. And yeah, I really enjoy that one. That's a good one. Spike Milligan is one of my other favorite poets, and I love his illustrations too. So if you can get any book by Spike Milligan, but I really particularly love the one Silly Verse for Kids. So yeah, if you find Spike Milligan's Silly Verse for Kids, that's a good one. The last one is one of my books, Spooky Poems Aloud, written by Joseph Coelho and illustrated by me. And so that's a new collection of poems that we've worked on together, poems to frighten you and delight you. So lots of scary, fun poems to read and perform.